Now, of course, people are over Disney live action films, and I'm probably one of the only people, or probably one of the people that kind of defends Disney live action films. I don't hate most of them. What is up, guys and Disney fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Mirror Reviews. My name is On The Brinker, and of course we have a new Disney live action film that's streamed on Disney Plus, and that movie is Peter Pan and Wendy. This movie is directed by David Lowery, and this movie stars Jude Law, Alexander Maloney, Eva Gardner Anderson, and Yara Sanadi. Hopefully I said her name right. A young girl named Wendy, looking to avoid boarding school, meets Peter Pan, a boy who refuses to grow up. Wendy, her brothers John and Michael, and Tinkerbell travel with Peter to the magical world Neverland, where she encounters an evil pirate captain known as Captain Hook. Now, of course, people are over Disney live action films, and I'm probably one of the only people, or probably one of the people that kind of defends Disney live action films. I don't hate most of them. There are some that I like, there are some I dislike, but unfortunately, I'm definitely going down with the dislike section, because after The Lion King, Mulan, Pinocchio that came out last year, I have a little tiny faith of Disney live action films. So, unfortunately, I was not excited for Peter Pan and Wendy. Not because it's a live action film, of course, it's just the trailers. They look bad. I was thinking this film is going to be the worst film of the year. But David Lowery is a fantastic director, though. I do like A Ghost Story and The Green Knight, two really underrated A24 films, but he also directed another Disney live action film, Pete's Dragon, which I find it very underrated. It's definitely one of the better Disney live action films. I really enjoyed that film. I think the thing that I liked about Pete's Dragon is that it feels like its own thing. It doesn't feel like a copy and paste version of a Disney film. So, Peter Pan and Wendy, I have a bit of hope for it, but of course I wasn't anticipating for the film because I was getting a little bit on the downside with Disney live action films, and I'm thinking, they should probably stop. And also, this is coming from the guy that is also a Peter Pan fan. I love the 2003's Peter Pan movie. I thought Jason Isaacs was a great Captain Hook, and I thought that movie is very underrated. Also, the Disney's Peter Pan movie. It's a freaking classic. Also, there is a straight-to-video Peter Pan movie from the 90s that I liked as a kid, and I watched it recently, and it's cringy as hell.
Avast belay, yo-ho, heave to. A pirating we go, and if we're parted,
But of course, my favorite Peter Pan movie, of course, of all time was Hook. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. Come on, Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Steven Spielberg's less known films. I think that film is great. Also Rufio, a freaking badass. But we also have a shit Peter Pan movie called Pan that came out in 2015, and that movie's also cringy as hell. Here we are now. Hesitator! So this movie can go either ways, and I gotta say, guys, I'm actually really happy to say that Peter Pan and Wendy, I wouldn't say it's the best Disney live action film, but it's definitely one of the better ones that came out in a while. I think Peter Pan and Wendy was a fun film for me. And I think one of the things that I liked about Peter Pan and Wendy is the way David Lowery directs this film. It doesn't feel like a carbon copy and paste of the Peter Pan movie from Disney. It feels like a adaptation of its source material from the books. And yes, it brings out stuff that we've seen from other Peter Pan movies, of course. But also, I appreciate David Lowery for basically trying to make this film different as well. There are a lot of different moments in this film where I'm like, okay, that's not in the source material, and I do appreciate for that, and it mostly works throughout the film. Let's talk about the performances, because this film has some really good child acting for the most part. Let's talk about Alexander Maloney as Peter Pan. This is his first movie, this is his acting debut, and for that role, I thought he does a really good job in this film. He definitely looks like he had a blast playing this role, and I wouldn't say he's the best adaptation of Peter Pan I've seen, but I do want to see Alexander Maloney in more stuff. I thought he does a really good job as Peter Pan. but definitely one of the scenes still is Eva Gado Anderson as Wendy. I thought she does a really terrific job in this film. Another actor that looks like she had a fun time with the film. I thought she does a really great job in this film. You really root for her character. She's technically the main character of this film, so you really follow her character along. I think she has a really good chemistry with Peter Pan and also the other characters in the film, and I thought she does a really terrific job. Also, Jude Law as Captain Hook. Now, is he the best adaptation of Captain Hook that I've seen? No, but I would say Jude Law's performance in the film is still very passable because I thought he does a really great job in the film. We get into a different side of Captain Hook that we haven't seen in other Peter Pan movies, and I thought the way they've written Captain Hook and Peter Pan with their chemistry, I thought it's really well done without spoiling it. There are some really good backstories in this film, and I think Jude Law provides Captain Hook very, very well. Not as good as the Disney's Peter Pan, and of course, Jason Isaacs and Dustin Hoffman. You know, not as good as that, but it wasn't trying to. I think Jude Law plays a very simple, but also effective Captain Hook, and I thought he does a really great job in the film. Also, I love Yara Shahadi as Tinkerbell. They definitely gave her an arc in this film, and I thought she performs Tinkerbell very, very well. She's not as snarky as the other Tinkerbell is. She's mostly very nice, but I really like that about this Tinkerbell. I would also say the visual effects in this movie, for the most part, look fantastic. I loved how magical this movie is. It's trying to bring back Disney magic as much as possible. And just the way the movie looks, I really do dig with the visual effects. The action scenes, the adventure scenes, you're definitely on that ride, which is weird because the trailers, I'm like, this looks very, very bland. But the movie turns out way better than the trailers. And I get why this film's a bit polarizing. This film's also very polarizing because, of course, people are hating Disney right now for doing these live-action films and also not doing anything much original anymore, so people are just loving to hate it for the sake of it. Honestly, this movie, what I appreciate about it is that it feels like its own thing. It doesn't feel like a carbon copy or paste. It just feels like an adaptation or reimagining of the Peter Pan source material. I do have flaws with the movie. It's not a perfect movie. It's not the best Disney live-action film. But I do appreciate that this is definitely one of the better ones that came in a while because I did have fun with this movie from start to finish. I would say is that this movie is definitely the shortest Peter Pan movie. I felt like this movie is pretty much rushed. Like, this movie is trying to get to where it needs to be. And I wish the film kind of slows it down. I wish there are times where the film should take a break. Because this movie is just like pacing to pacing to pacing to pacing, things happening to things happening to things happening. It really wants to get straight into it, which is a positive as well, but also a negative because I wish this film takes its time to basically explore more things, especially with the other characters in the film. Like John and Michael in this film, they're basically more background characters in the film. They're supposed to be in the main 4 leads or 5 leads. And also the Lost Boys and Tiger Lily, they also feel like they're in the background. They just feel like they're in the background, and I wish those characters could have been much more explored. Now, this is definitely more of a nitpick for me with this flaw, is the look of Neverland. Now, the place that I filmed in is beautiful, but just the way Neverland looks, to me, it looks kind of bland. Like, the way I see Neverland, it's supposed to be a very magical looking place. In the Disney version, it looks fantastic. Even the 2003's Peter Pan movie, I'm like, this place looks freaking magical, even with Hook. This movie, it just looks more like just an island with, of course, props like pirate ships and stuff. It didn't really look much like a Neverland for me, but that's just more of a nitpick for me. Overall, I'm happy about Peter Pan and Wendy. This is definitely one of the better Disney live-action films that I've seen. David Lowery directs this film mostly very, very well. The acting was good in the film. It definitely brings the charm that I loved about the Peter Pan movies, while also trying to do something different with characters' backstories, and I really do appreciate that about this film. If The Little Mermaid and Snow White keeps this up like David Lowery does, making it feel like its own thing, I want my Disney live-action films throughout. I am going to give Peter Pan and Wendy a B. Give this film as much chance as possible. It doesn't feel like a carbon copy or paste of the Disney's Peter Pan, which I'm so freaking thankful of. This movie does feel like its own thing, but of course it's not the best Peter Pan movie, but I would say I'd rather watch this more than Pan. Absolutely. So guys, that is my review for Peter Pan and Wendy. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments below. And also, what Disney film that you do want to see in live action? To me, I do want to see a Treasure Planet live action film because that film was not loved by many people. So maybe a live action remake can help that source material because I find that movie very underrated. So guys, make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contacting with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel notified for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a nice day.
Here we are.